So Jerry, since you've been doing robotics for like a long time, like 4 years, right? So you must have gone to a lot of competitions in the past, right?
So every year, every season, there's kind of around formal competitions and maybe one or two informal competitions that are hosted by the teams or by certain alumni. So there's usually one or two scrimmages, which are kind of like small meetings almost to see how teams have decided to tackle the year's challenge.
Okay, so
And
sorry. Go ahead.
and the other two competitions, well, the other three usually, are much bigger. So the first one is kind of like a regional qualifier. And this regional qualifier is, say, BC alone is split into three areas. So the lower mainland, which is kind of like above the Fraser River, and below the Fraser River, I don't remember what it's called, like Surrey and Langley.
I'm trying to work out my geography skills right
And then the last region is in Victoria and in Vancouver Island. Those are three regions, and there's a qualifier in the region, and whoever qualifies will go to the BC championships, and the two best performing teams will then move on to the World Championships in Houston, Texas.
Texas. Did they get a free plane ticket, or like, are they invited, or like?
I'm not sure. I haven't been there.
Yeah, well, it's like, which competition was the most memorable for you?
I would say the most memorable season would be this year's season, and obviously the most memorable competition would be the one which we performed the best in, which is the BC Championships. And I think that this competition alone is the most memorable for two main reasons. One of them is because of our performance. I would say that even though we didn't actually place that high, we did perform quite well. We also won the Control Award. The Connect Award.
Connect Award, yeah. There.
Which wasn't necessarily a goal, but I think that winning an award nonetheless is pretty impressive. And the second reason that this year was memorable is because of our members. And I think that memorable because it's kind of the end of their journey in first. Because this year they're going to move on to university, where they're too old to compete in first FTC, and they're also going to be really busy with university.
I see. So they're like 12th graders, right? So
Yeah.
they're pretty busy, I must imagine. And yeah. So if I was someone who didn't know what robotics was, like, I haven't heard of the term FTC before. So first of all, what does FTC stand for?
FTC stands for First Tech Challenge.
Okay. So, because myself, I have done like other challenges before, like FLL, which I know is First Lego League, and there's another one, FRC?
FRC, First Robotics Competition.
Okay, so there's like different ones, right?
Yeah.
So, what is the main difference between these ones? Like, what is first in general?
So first, I'm actually not really sure, but I think that it's more like a organization that works on these competitions, FRC, FTC, and FLL, and these competitions that want to activate STEM skills, as well as incorporating aspects such as gracious professionalism and outreach.
I see. So, how would you describe like robotics to someone who hasn't like seen it before? Maybe I'm an alien. I don't know what robotics is. Like, I don't know what is robotics.
So from my own eyes, I would say robotics is, I would say, like a field of a combination of more like design, engineering, and coding. And all these three combined, they create a cohesive field known as robotics, where we use like autonomous systems to try and achieve goals. At least that's how I see robotics.
Is it like artificial intelligence? Is it like AI? Is it?
I think AI is its like own field, because robotics, the way I see it, is more about robots and how they move and how they interact. Whereas
Oh.
AI is kind of like how
It's like
computer.
GPT, right?
Yeah.
Yes. It's the very interesting stuff that we've seen very popped up very recently. That's interesting. And so, Jerry, you've recently won the Connect Award, right?
Yeah.
The Connect Award for FTC. And just so we get a clear picture of how the award system works, but how much awards are there for first?
There are actually, I say, a lot of awards that one can earn. I think that there's 3 types of awards actually. One type, which is kind of out of my league personally, is for the players themselves. The awards people who have I maybe helped out a lot in the first community, or say there's a thing known as Dean's List, which I think rewards people for their kindness and their connection with people. And the second type of award is for outreach. Awards such as Motivate, Connect, and Inspire, which award teams for kind of what they do, inspiring, motivating, and connecting with people that are around and in their community. And the last group, which is I feel like the most obvious, is rewards based on the robot itself. Robot awards such as Design or Control, which kind of just award players based on how good their robot is, how innovative, and as well as how high-reaching their design is, and how different and successful their, say, autonomous or control is.
Okay, I see. Very interesting. Wow, very interesting. That's so like it's not just like okay, whose robot completed the most runs or has gotten the most points, right? So it's very different. So you could win in one part and then you may be like not so good at the other, but still you have like a special part.
Yeah,
I see.
I think first place a large emphasis on that idea.
Okay, I see. So normally, like I'm thinking, how much awards are there? Then first, like FTC, how much awards?
I would say for the entire teams, I'd say there's 2 for the robots, and I think 3 for outreach. So it'd be a total of 5 for the teams themselves. But I would say there are maybe like 3 more awards for not just the team, but for the players themselves.
Okay. So like Jerry, you're a high schooler, right? You're in grade 9, just like me, and like how much time normally do you put into like robotics and this extracurricular event, right? It's a extracurricular. How much time out of your week do you normally put into this?
So I would say the time I spend on working on the robot really varies on 2 main factors: on what, say, time of the season it is, and kind of what we're trying to achieve at this current moment. Say, me personally, I'm focused mostly on the design and the building portion. So that would mean that in the first few stages of working on a robot, I would participate more often rather than in the coding section, where I'm often not as useful as the coders themselves. And I think that also it really depends on the urgency of our robot. Say, in this year alone, we probably spent maybe like 60 hours in a week.
60 hours on a week.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, that's
just working on the robot itself, because we really wanted to compete well in the BC Championships.
I see. So just to get a sense of the robot, like how huge is it? Is it like very small? Is it very big? Is it like a car, or is it like?
I'd say it's pretty small. I think that each robot has to fit in a box the size of 18 inches by 18 inches by 18 inches. So that's around maybe like this big. And our robot itself is only like this wide.
Oh.
And I think that this is a pretty smart design choice that we've made to allow for its maneuverability.
I see. So obviously there's set dimensions on
Yeah,
what your
definitely.
robot. Okay, I see.